Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. I am JD, aka He Who Pods. Glasses on today, so also rear view mirror.
And I'm Dash, aka Dashing D, aka the real king of R&B, aka Cool Grandma Not Really, aka I'm talking too fast.
Is that the last AKA? I'm talking too fast.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I want to cut you off. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to silence black women. Okay.
please don't. There's enough. There's enough. There's enough silencers out there.
Absolutely.
Okay,
You don't want to
because
be part of that.
no.
Nah. Anyway, let's get right to it. So the long-awaited Fantastic Four teaser trailer has dropped. The movie comes out in July, the end of July. I think it was July 25th, if I'm correct. And people have been waiting for this trailer for a long time. There was even an event. I saw Marvel had some like countdown event. There were all these people there, excited and going crazy, waiting on the countdown for the trailer. It's wild.
Whenever your intro starts like that, I have a question mark because I'm like, you're starting that way, but something tells me that that's about all the positivity
Oh, no, no.
this is about to get. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna go first. I like to go first when you
Okay.
know more about a topic because then I can just move out the way. So,
There's nothing to know right now. Just the teaser trailer.
I mean, I remember the old Fantastic Four. I've seen it. Like, I know this is not that.
Right.
Um,
It is not.
from what I gathered, this is like, is this considered a prequel?
No, this is a brand new
Or
team
this
in a brand
this
new
is just
universe.
considered the beginning,
Yes,
not a prequel. That was probably the wrong way to say it, but this is the beginning of the story.
right. Those other ones have nothing to do with this one.
Yes, that I know, but I just wanted to make sure I understood. This is where it starts. This new version, this version that exists in 2025 is
Correct.
brand new. It's just starting. We haven't missed anything because it hasn't happened yet.
That's why I said there's nothing for me to know.
Yeah, so that's all I wanted to clear up. I mean, I thought it was interesting. It was very much about family
Yep.
and family dynamics,
Yep.
and I thought that was cute. Um, I like I laughed at the scene where I don't remember the names, but when the robot came over and the robot made the food and then he's like, just gonna add a little garlic in here.
Not because it's
I thought
bad, but just
not
because
'cause it's bad.
I
I
want to
thought
add a
that
little bit of kick to it.
was I love that.
I didn't.
I thought it was cute. Maybe because like when I was a kid and I'd make things, my dad would grade me.
Yeah, but it's a robot, not a kid.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, like my dad would grade me, and then I'd have to work harder because
Nigga being
I
nice to
want a
the
better
robot.
grade on it, right?
I was this nigga being nice to the robot. Just tell the robot what to do. That's it.
So I thought it was sweet. I was just like, oh, this is sweet. It just seemed like that's kind of what they're going for, like this family and this camaraderie, and I don't know if that's what I was expecting from a Marvel movie. Um, not this one anyway. Um, but it's cool. I feel like it wasn't. I feel like they didn't give us a whole lot. I think that's where we're gonna differ because you're probably just gonna understand it better than I do. But I didn't feel like they gave us a whole lot. I felt like it really was a teaser,
I agree.
and but that's a good thing
We'll see.
because I don't want to know the whole movie. When I say that's a good thing, I mean I don't want to know the whole movie right now.
Well, we kind of already
And
do know the whole movie.
okay,
because we don't know the details, but what we do know is somehow that Fantastic Four group, family, whatever, team comes to the MCU or the main universe. And this is not a movie from the main universe. So we know that something happens. You good?
Yeah.
We know that something happens that makes them leave their universe and come to the MCU main universe. And that Doctor Doom, Robert Downey Jr., is from that world and will also be coming with them somehow to the main MCU world. So we kind of know the big stuff already. Um, and Galactus is in the movie. And so it's pretty kind of, it's kind of there already because Galactus is the eater of worlds. And so probably Galactus eats their world and they escape into the MCU. I mean,
Well, this is what I'm talking about. I feel like you just have more context than I do.
but that's
So,
just because I'm online looking for stuff. That's all.
right, but nonetheless, I don't have anything to go off of other than what I watched for 90 seconds.
Got it. Well, yeah.
If
Um,
if I'm gonna erase everything that I've seen in the past of other iterations of this,
mhm, mhm.
you know what I mean?
Yes, that's what they want us to do. Yes. Um, this is a different universe, a different
Hmm.
team, a different story. And so we'll see where it goes. People are excited. Fantastic Four is Marvel's first family, quote unquote. Um, and it seems like they're kind of using that family theme, as you said. So yeah, I mean the trailer looked good. I'm glad we get to see Galactus be more than just a cloud of dust. Um, and yeah, I'm also glad they didn't show a Silver Surfer yet. I know Silver Surfer is in the movie. Silver Surfer is a woman in this movie, and yeah, um, yeah. I just think it was a cool trailer. I don't think it was groundbreaking, but I thought it was cool. I was a little bit shocked at the fact that they used the regular voice of the actor who played the Thing. I thought they would change his voice once he changed into the Thing. But they didn't. He's just got the regular actor's voice. So that caught me off guard. That's the only thing I will say that was like, oh, yeah, I didn't change his voice. They sound just like the regular actor.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And yeah, Sue is saying, like, Invisible Woman is saying, like, man, this is what we already were. We were already these things before we got the powers. Um, And so that was cool because that's kind of the idea. The idea is that these people already had these powers, quote unquote. This was already their personality. The powers just brought their personality to life, I guess is the way to explain it. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm no Fantastic Four expert. I watched the cartoons as a kid like everybody else. I watched those old Fox movies like everybody else. But I never read like tons and tons of Fantastic Four comics. Even the comics I did read were from that old TV show. Um, so this is not really where I have any expertise. Um, I'm more of a DC guy when it comes to that. Message!
It's actually an alert to change my Brita filter.
Holler. Change that. And on that note, I'm going to sip some water.
I already know that's right. I've got bottled water.
Holler. So yeah, I thought it was a cool trailer. I thought it was short and sweet. Um, I mean, I didn't really need a trailer. I was already gonna watch Fantastic Four. But yeah, it's cool. People are excited about it, highly anticipated, and we'll see what happens. I don't need another trailer though, so I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, I go to the movies a lot. I imagine I'll see the next trailer, but I don't want to see a million trailers. The movie comes out in July. Let's just get to the movies.
Right.
Yeah. I think the thing that most of us are curious is more about how are they going to get them to the MCU or the main universe, whatever you want to call it. Um, I think that's more of the curiosity because the rest is just setup stuff. But one thing to note is this will be the Fantastic 14 moving forward. Uh, and that's a big deal. So if you don't like this Fantastic 14, you're going to be uncomfortable for the next 10 years, probably. But that's how Marvel does their contracts. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is the Fantastic 14, allegedly.
I mean, it looks interesting. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. You want to read us about Killer Mike?
Uh, okay.
Or you want me to read it?
Um, I can do it.
Do it, do it, do it, do it.
So, according to The Guardian, Killer Mike is suing a security firm over his Grammys arrest, alleging public humiliation.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that the rapper alleges assault, false arrest, and more when he was detained shortly after winning 3 awards at the 2024 ceremony, but security firm claims zero involvement.
Mm.
Um, okay, so it says that the rapper, real name Michael Render, won 3 awards at the ceremony for Best Rap Album, Best Rap Song, and Best Rap Performance. But shortly after he wins, as he moved backstage towards the red carpet area, he was arrested and detained after an altercation with what Render later described as an overzealous security guard.
Mm-hmm.
In July, the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office said it would not file charges against Render over the incident. So ultimately, he was not charged with anything.
That's good. I didn't know that.
But it says Render is now suing SNS labor force, alleging false arrest and imprisonment, assault, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and negligence. The lawsuit, quoted by Rolling Stone, alleges that Render made multiple attempts to clarify his identity and purpose for being in that secured area, but was ignored and restrained.
Mm.
Defendants then surrounded plaintiff with multiple security guards and wrongfully detained plaintiff and confined his movements through physical force. Defendants used their position of authority to degrade, embarrass, and physically hurt plaintiff in public view.
Mm.
Subjecting him to emotional distress and public humiliation.
For sure.
So it says he is seeking a trial and eventual damages.
Okay.
And SNS labor force, who operate as JRM security, they have responded, and as I previously stated, this is in more detail, they say they unequivocally state that they had zero involvement in the incident described. So they're claiming that this is not the case.
Right.
What he's alleging, but I guess I wonder how come this came up now?
Good question.
I'm not saying he's wrong for it's wrong for it happening now. It's just interesting to me that it's
A year later.
a year to the date that we're hearing about this.
Right.
So kind of strange in that sense. Like I was surprised when you shared this because I was just like, oh, I haven't thought about this thing that happened
At all.
since last February,
Right.
you know? We talked about it here, but wasn't really top of mind. So apparently, he's now seeking trial and like they said, eventually damages, which means money. Um,
Mhm.
so this is interesting.
It is
And
interesting. I wonder who's gonna end up, who the buck is gonna get up, who the buck will be passed to.
yeah,
Because they're saying they have nothing to do with it. He's saying they do. Um, but even if he loses that lawsuit, somebody's gonna have to pay because we all saw what happened, and he says we only saw a small piece of what happened. He's been saying that since the day after the incident happened. So I'm sure that if Killer Mike is taking action, it's for a reason, and somebody's gonna have to pay, like literally monetarily. So this is interesting. I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on. I'm also glad we were able to find out that it was thrown out in July because I didn't see anything about that. We
yeah, I
would have
didn't.
came in and reported on that. So it's interesting that that kind of happened quietly, I guess I'll say.
Mhm.
But I'm glad that we have that information as well. I'm glad he's good. I'm glad that the thing. I'm glad he's not in any legal trouble. But the fact remains his moment was ruined. I couldn't say that for a second. His moment was ruined. You know, he had the biggest night of his career, and it was stampeded by this thing where we all just saw him getting hauled out of the arena in
Yeah.
cuffs. So yeah, I think yeah, it is something that shouldn't we didn't need to see physically. There are lots of ways to handle these things quietly, and clearly
Mhm.
they didn't. And so, yeah, plus he's saying he was assaulted and injured. Well, then, yeah, somebody got to pay. So, I'm curious to see how this develops. Uh, and it's always interesting to me when you have two sides who are saying the exact opposite, where one person is saying, you definitely did this, and the other person is saying, no, I had nothing to do with it. So that's why I say it's interesting to see that. And I guess we'll see who ends up catching the buck or however the term goes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. It's an unfortunate thing that happened. And I'm always on the side of if there is a way to somehow make penance for what someone has done, then so be it.
Right.
Um, but speaking of the Grammys, on a lighter note, um, so Doechii, we talked about her yesterday. We talked about the fact that she performed as a Best New Artist nominee. We talked about the fact that she won Best Rap Album. Um, Apparently, she was ready for her win.
Right. Because she immediately dropped a new song called Nosebleeds.
Yes. I'm be real honest with you, and I think maybe my volume was a little too high when I turned it on, but it felt like chaos to me. I gotta be honest.
Because it does sound like chaos. It does not sound good.
I was just like, what is this?
Yeah.
Um,
That's how I felt the whole 2 minutes and 25 seconds. I was like, what is this? This is like a lot of noise.
yeah, and I was on the verge of migraine, and
Oh,
I was worried
that's not
that,
helpful.
right. I'm glad that you said what you said because I was worried that I was just, it was just the migraine that was not allowing me to
No, because I was just fine and it
enjoy
almost
it.
gave me a migraine.
Right.
I was like, what is this? First of all, you know I'm not a fan of that breath shit that she does on the one song. So to bring it now to the new song, I was like, oh God, what is this? Then the
Just felt
beat does all this weird stuff. It's like a commotion. It's like just really weird, and I got some of the references. She kind of flipped a little Wayne line here. She's rapping kind of like Nicki there.
that was the biggest standout for me that I could hear
I
Nikki.
just like, all right, I guess, but this was not. I don't need this. I'm not gonna play this again.
No,
I didn't. This is very, very whack to me. Like I didn't like talk your shit, but this was not.
that's exactly how I felt.
I felt like this is not the talk your shit I even like to hear from Doechii. Like I don't know what this is. I didn't like
Or
this.
anyone. Um,
Yeah, it was weird because she's really saying a lot of nothing. That's the other thing.
you're right. And that was what I was thinking when I was listening to it. I was like, I don't want to, what do they say? I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. I feel like you won. It's really exciting that you won. And I think, you know, I'll get on my black girl soapbox for a second and I'll say that, you know, sometimes for one reason or another, we don't get to celebrate our wins, or people don't celebrate us enough.
Hmm.
And I'm totally fine. Or if we are very confident or kind of in your face, then people have negative things to say about that. I'm always going to encourage talking your shit, um, and standing in it and being confident. And you accomplished something amazing. So that's amazing. And you should talk about it and big yourself up.
Right.
And I feel that way about everybody, right? Like, I think I always say that I love when people, music artists specifically, talk their shit on their music because that's the place to do it, right?
Right.
Like, I love that. So I'm never going to say that that was the thing that was wrong with it. I think that was the thing that was great about it. Um, and the other thing that I thought to myself was, this is very Nicki coded.
Yep.
This is I heard Nicki. I said, "Oh, okay." And I've said before that she has talked about the fact that Nicki was a big influence on her, and
Hmm.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
It was very easy to hear this time. Like, sometimes you hear her Kendrick influences, sometimes you hear Nicki, sometimes like you can tell when she's
Tapping in.
in a certain bag. Um, so I thought that was cool and that was interesting, and I hope Nicki's paying attention because you know Nicki love a little recognition herself. So I hope that Nicki's paying attention to this new artist who very obviously um is inspired by her,
Right.
because I think that's super important for Nicki to pay attention to. She loves to talk about those, the fact that she came before so many other women. So I hope she's seeing this and hearing this, and enjoying it, you know. But this wasn't the one for me.
No, me neither. I didn't like it. By the time we got to the actual rap, I wanted it to be over. I was like,
Yeah,
I don't know what we're doing here.
I don't know. 7 seconds in, I was like, I should I turn this off?
Yeah, same. And I've never felt like that about a Doechii record before.
Not even me.
Yeah,
Um,
so this was not
can't
it
like
for
them all.
me. But listen, she's young, she's excited, she's celebrating, and that's
And
okay.
experimental.
And that's okay. It just means that
Mhm.
this one is not for me. That's all.
We're also old.
That's why I said she's young.
I know, but the the opposite of that.
Right. What my daughter said, uh,
Oh,
old,
I know what you're talking.
we old because we ain't new.
We're far from new.
Right.
So you're absolutely right.
Girl's crazy. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, well, that's our show.
Yes, it is. Thank you for being here. This has been Weeknights. We appreciate you. We will see you tomorrow.
Bye.